So how sharp should your sword be? It's actually a pretty good question, isn't it? So let's give it a go. Talk about it. Hopefully everyone's having a good Sunday. We still got rain, wind, snow. Well, not so much here, but all next week we're gonna have rain, snow. It's getting ridiculous. It's like living in Washington. But I figured I'd touch on how sharp should your sword be. And this is a hard one, because it depends on really the medium that you're cutting, the material of the blade, just a bunch of different factors. So this is my personal opinion too. If I can do a zero static on a bottle with my sword, it's sharp enough. Like this, I found out, this is my Murasame L6 blade. I'm beginning to like it. It's not a perfect blade, no. When I first got it, it chipped out bad right here. And took me 4 hours on the stone, but I got it worked out, and this thing is sharp again, because I had to work the whole blade. When you get into something like L6 and want to hire up, certain companies like Murasame put a razor's edge on this sucker, on their blades. Okay. Now, the drawback to that is, if you're doing hard targets, it can roll or chip the edge. I don't care what metal it's made out of. Okay, and I'll show you why. Why I say that. But after I redid this whole edge, I've had no issues with it. I can hit hard plastic bottles now or whatever. The bottles I was using wasn't even hard bottles, and it just goes right through it. When you put a razor's edge on it, it's great for mat cutting, because the mats are soaked, they're grass form, it'll go right through them. Okay. In Japan, they put a razor's edge on them specifically for mat cutting. When they cut bamboo, they don't have a razor's edge. They dull the edge down. Okay, so a lot of them will have more than one sword that they cut with. All right. Because I just found out recently, back in the feudal times, that even during the Edo period, they didn't have a razor's edge on their sword. The edges were dulled down. They'll still cut, because with the razor's edge, that fine edge, it can chip out really, really easily. And I'll try and do my best here to draw a diagram. Okay. So bear with me. So basically your edge of your sword looks like this. Okay, you got two of them here. All right. Now, what happens is, when you refine your edge out a lot, okay, I'm trying to do this without a ruler, so if it's a little squiggly, sorry. Okay, so you see how I brought that one up higher? Right there. than that one. Okay, what happens here is there's no structure left. Okay? So, if you have no structure left here, what happens is this area, this area right there, so you get for not looking, deteriorates. Okay, so it's just going to work its way off of there. It's going to break. You don't see that though. Microscopically, you can't see it. But when you get it to where it's such a fine point on either side, it starts deteriorating slowly. Like I said, we just can't see it with our eye. So if you've got a blade that's like a razor, and you just cut pool noodles, you just cut mats, just zips right through it. And then you switch it up, start doing bamboo, that'll either roll your edge, dull your edge, or worst case scenario, chip your edge out, like right now. It's that edge isn't going to last because there's no material there. There's nothing structural left. So if you leave it like that though, there's more structure left. So it's going to help retain that edge a lot longer because you didn't extend it out more. You didn't thin the sides out as much. There's meat there. Because that's what you're doing. When you... Let me draw another one here. Like I said, these aren't the greatest. Let's squiggle that one out. Okay. So we're looking at this one right here. Okay. This one right here. So that's the one we leave the meat on. This one, we go up here. What you're doing is these sides, on either side here, you're thinning out. So when you thin those out, you take the structure away. Now, that's why I say, can you get it too sharp? It depends on the person. What is your medium? What are you cutting? Blade material, some might be a little bit stronger when you do that and last a little bit longer. Some may not. It all depends. Like this is an L6. Now this is not an L6 with bayonet. There's two different ones. It's L6 and L6 with bayonet. The bayonet is a heat treating process. Okay? So, does that mean this is bad? No, it doesn't. This is still a step up from T10. You thin it out though, you get what I had. Chip out. And the chip outs were right in here. There was two actually. And one was pretty deep. Bird saw, if I remember correctly, I sent a picture to Bird when this sucker chipped out. So, if you're getting a blade, real high quality blade like this, I would ask how sharp they get it. Because people always go, I got it, or I can shave with it. You really, honestly, this is my opinion, you don't need it that sharp. Really, you don't. Point in case when you get something a razor's edge is when you shave. In fact, let me go get it. Okay, so this is my razor. This is the type of razor I use to shave all the time. Okay, there's a reason why. This is old school. Screw the bottom, and you got a razor that sits right inside there. I used to buy the Gillette refillable razors and all that. They had the 3 razor blades on it, and just crap like that. We've all seen them. Went to this because Sometimes with those, I get halfway done shaving and I've got to change the blade out. Because my facial hair is so coarse and so rough, it just dulled the hell out of them. Fast. Now, I get these. It's got a razor just like that, old school razor. I get 100 of these for like $10. This was a brand new razor. I just about have to change them out every single time after I get done shaving because this is dull as hell. Now, when people get their swords like this, there's nothing, you're just, that edge is deteriorating. And it's just a fact. It's physics. You know, I've worked with steel for a long time. I've even ground things where you had to have, if you take a piece of metal, just scrap metal, if you have a belt grinder, just grind either edge so it's really thin. You'll start seeing those burrs build up. Everyone goes, you want to build a burr, you want to build a burr. You're taking too much off because those sides are getting thinner and thinner and thinner and thinner. You're taking the structure out of it. Now, I'm not going to tell people how to sharpen their swords. It's up to you, like I said. Just know that if your edge isn't retaining, especially when you change up your medium, that's probably why you have your edge too sharp. And that's the hard part. Where do I find where it's a good edge? Because like I tell people, and this goes for European swords too, actually. Okay, let me see here. This is how a sword is designed. So when it hits material, the material just pushes out of its way. That's what it's designed to do. Like a splitting maul. The material just goes and moves out of the way. So, like I said, I'm not trying to tell people how to sharpen their stuff, whatever. That's up to you, how you want to do it. I'm just putting out there, if you're like wondering, why isn't this keeping my edge and this and that, like I said, it has to do with the metal. But you could be over sharpening it. And there is a thing of over sharpening. You know, or you just sharpened it and you've had it for a long time and you decided to try a different medium, a harder target, and it chipped right out or rolled the edge. Might be that you over sharpened it. You know, you got that edge too fine. And when you do that, there's nothing to hold it anymore. It's just gonna go away. It's just the way it is. But yeah, I like this L6 now. Now that I redid the whole blade, it works great. So they had sharpened it way too much. And that could be problematic depending on what you're cutting. You know? Especially if it's bamboo. If you're cutting bamboo, you don't want a razor's edge on that sucker. It's going to chip your edge out like right now. Or roll the edge. One of the two. So, I would say, depending on your targets, what you're cutting, you're going to change it up. Find a happy medium. You know, for yourself. What works for you. Me, like I said, if I can put that blade up against a bottle and just slice right through it, it's sharp enough for me. I don't need any sharper than that. It gives me nice clean cuts every single time. So, people tell you need to have it where you can shave with it or whatever. Don't worry about it. Experiment with it. You know, because you don't need it where you can shave your arm hair off with. A sword is going to do what it does. Push material out of its way. So, that's all I have for you guys. We will see you on the next go around. And everyone have a good week. Till then, later.